The journey to myself. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Anaïs Nin. (2012). 2 years after our first trip, we landed in Wuhan. This time we arrived with many more bags because I was moving our life to China. We maneuvered our 2 trolleys and our abundance of luggage through the airport toward the exit. Olivier, who was 12 years old and entering puberty, took charge of the second trolley, providing me with valuable assistance. Meanwhile, 11-year-old Emilie, still delicate, managed her own carry-on bag with grace. Outside, we headed toward the taxi stand, armed with a printed paper containing directions to the train station in Chinese and an electric translator that translated only one word at a time. I stopped the procession of taxis to show the driver the details of our destination, but the other taxis behind us began honking impatiently. This jarred my nerves and made me clumsier as we loaded our luggage into the trunk. We got in the car and closed the door while the taxi was already driving toward the exit. We left the airport and the taxi headed toward the city. I looked out the window, taking in the gray, industrial, smog-covered landscape of Wuhan, so different from the colorful images often associated with Chinese cities. The taxi weaved through the hectic traffic, a mix of cars and the occasional scooter, all moving with purpose. The cityscape was dominated by towering utilitarian buildings and older, worn-down structures, creating a gritty atmosphere. I glanced at Olivier, who was staring out the window with wide eyes, taking in the unfamiliar and somewhat daunting surroundings. Emilie, meanwhile, seemed captivated by the neon signs and colorful billboards that intermittently broke through the haze. The driver weaved through the broad boulevards and overpasses with surprising ease, given the seeming chaos. We crossed over a massive bridge. The murky waters of the Yangtze River spread out below us. The bridge stood as a testament to Wuhan's engineering capabilities and industrial power. The view from the bridge highlighted the city's size, with clusters of high-rise buildings stretching out into the distance. Finally, the taxi pulled up to the curb of the train station and we unloaded our bags. The driver pointed toward the ticket counter while speaking Mandarin. I assumed he was telling us where we needed to obtain our train tickets. I approached the ticket counter hesitantly, showing the attendant the electronic translator with the word Wudang displayed. After passing our passports through the window, she handed us our tickets and pointed to the station entrance. "I guess we have to go there," I said to the kids dubiously, pointing in the same direction as the ticket lady. After passing our bags through a scanner, we stood on a platform for a security check by the police. This process heightened my jitters, as my poor sense of direction always left me unsure of my location. Unlike the previous trip, where I followed Pierre and only had to focus on the kids, I was now navigating uncharted territory alone. We located our gate and a brief sense of relief washed over me, only to be quickly replaced by new concerns. I turned to the kids and voiced my worry. When the train arrives, we have 15 minutes to get all our bags onto the platform. Train stations often have a set of stairs running either above or below the platform. "When I say go, it means go," I told them. They nodded, readying themselves for what felt like a marathon, given the weight of our bags. The announcement over the loudspeaker was incomprehensible to us, but when everyone around us stood up, we followed suit and joined the line. The crowd began nudging forward, and soon a second announcement spurred everyone into motion. As we moved with the crowd, I noticed that our bags felt lighter. Glancing back, I saw that a few of our fellow passengers had picked up some of our trailing luggage. Together we hurried toward the train. They checked our tickets and guided us to our carriage, even helping us lift our bags aboard. We exchanged smiles and brief, appreciative bows, thanking them as we bid them farewell. While the Chinese people we encountered didn't speak much English, they were always very helpful. When we arrived in Wudang 7 hours later, a group of elderly ladies kindly picked up our carry-on suitcases and helped us navigate out of the train station and into a taxi. Xie xie, I said, which means thank you, the full extent of my Chinese. The taxi pulled up at the Kung Fu Academy where Shifu and his family were waiting to welcome us. Emily ran to embrace them, while Olivier and I mustered our last bit of energy to haul the bags up one more flight of stairs. The familiar scent of urine and burnt oil lingered in the hallway, but this time I steeled myself, focusing straight ahead like a horse with blinders. Over time, I noticed that my sense of smell seemed to dull, no doubt as a protective mechanism, and unpleasant odors no longer registered as strongly. We entered the familiar room as sparse as before, with a solitary pillow and a thick blanket on the hard mattress. I sighed heavily, questioning how an extra blanket was supposed to soften this way too firm mattress. Here we go again, I thought, pondering the misguided belief that coming here could somehow be a salvation. Beside me, Olivier gazed out the window sullenly, missing his friends in Panama and the comforting chicken soup from home. In contrast, we could see Emilie in the courtyard chatting vivaciously with the other foreigners, visibly thrilled to be back. I unpacked our bags until it was time for dinner, and then we went down to the dining hall to eat with the other students. I hoped that Emilie would find relief in China and start to heal from the relentless bullying she had endured at the French school. But I knew that despite our relocation, she remained entangled with her biggest bully, her brother, who often pushed her sensitive buttons and undermined her confidence. At dinner, we met Natasha, an American girl 12 years older than Emilie, who lived at the school as a long-term student. Despite their age gap, they instantly clicked and chatted happily from the moment they met. Natasha was the same age as Melanie, which was very familiar for Emilie, and she fell easily into an older-younger sister relationship. Olivier, on the other hand, remained quiet during our first dinner back at the school. His concerns about managing the rigorous training, keeping up with the online studies, and being far from his friends weighed on him. But everyone at the academy was happy to see him back. Eventually, their warm reception drew out a smile when they called out his Chinese name Yo-Yo and marveled at how much he had grown.